Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 337. Can you believe we've been doing this 300? Well, I haven't been doing 337 times, but I've done it about 200 times with John, which is still pretty bloody impressive.
There's something pervy about that statement.
Oh my goodness gracious, John! You take this stuff to the weirdest places. All right. So we're really excited because John and I are going to run a fun test today. And here's what the test is. John has prepped up a list of the 10 best and worst real estate CRMs. He legitimately sent me this list and said, hey, Robert, this is what I want to do the show on. But because I'm Robert Newman and I'm ADD and many other things, I didn't actually look at the list. So what we're going to do now is, John, you should, I hope all of you tune into the YouTube so you can see the face he just made. But what we're going to do now is we're actually going to have a conversation where he really truly brings up the names of these different CRMs to me for the first time. I don't even know what he put on the list. And then I'm going to respond on the spot to what those CRMs are. It should be kind of fun. It will be fun for us, no matter what. We don't know about you.
It's either going to be, it'll be either a thumbs up or he's like the Roman emperor, listeners and viewers. It either be a thumb up or a thumb down, right? And then,
John, before we get into that, why don't you tell everybody what qualifies you to make a list of real estate CRMs in the first place?
Well, I've been studying it, and I've got my own little one, my little miniature one. That's part of the Millwright system. It's an easy. Well, I was once told by a trainer, real estate trainer, Jonathan. He said, "You know the most powerful CRM that you can buy?" And I said, "No, I don't. Please inform me." He said, "The one that you use." And it's so true. So it depends. Like, it's like when somebody asks you, what's the best website platform for real estate agents? And I say, well, it depends who you are. You know, what your objectives, what your budget, where are you in your career? And it's exactly the same with a CRM. So the title is a bit of link bait, really, but there's some truth to it. But the reality is there is no perfect CRM because there's all different types of agents, power groups, bigger groups, blah, 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 all looking for different things. And for one CRM to be able to cater to all these diverse groups at different price points would be practically impossible. But we all like to live in fantasy, don't we, Robert?
We really do. We really do. So that's a great intro. That's a great intro to John. If you want to learn more about John and who he is and where he gets his development chops from, go to mail-right.com. John has been building out various applications at various levels for a long period of time. This is not his only business. He has another business, and he had businesses prior to that. So I strongly recommend that you check out his website and do a little research.
Thank you so much, Robert. And if you're into SEO, Robert's your man and his team. So let's start off then.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
The roll.
I'm ready.
I just want a facial reaction and a verbal one for our listeners. Okay. Line desk.
Okay. Well, it's not surprising to me that you started with Line Desk. Line Desk is one of the big boys in the sandbox. I haven't done a proper deep dive on Line Desk in probably about 2 years. The last time that I looked, I found Line Desk to be kind of like the Swiss Army knife of real estate CRMs. It seemed to do a little bit of everything. It also seemed to be very, very similar to the analogy of the Swiss Army knife of CRMs in the sense that I don't know how, like, most of our listeners are probably so young they don't even remember this, but there used to be a time that you could walk into a store and you'd have this knife that was just massive. It had everything. It had a fork, a screwdriver, a magnifying glass, and tweezers and toothpicks. And I mean, basically it was an all-in-one survival kit, but it was so big that if you carried it around in your pocket, you basically had like a 1 pound weight on your pocket. It wasn't easy to carry around, break out, or use. The same thing holds true of LineDesk. You can probably find everything in there that you need, John, and you're going to find it at a reasonable price, something like $39, $49, something like that. But is it going to be easy? Is it going to be seamless? Is it necessarily going to be easy to intuit how to use their platform? My inclination is to say no.
Well, it's a complicated one, listeners. If you're an individual real estate agent, if you don't want to use your brokerage CRM, which you shouldn't, well, kind of use it, but you also need your own. That's number one. It's like your website. You really need your own website, and you need really your own CRM. For between 25 and 35 bucks, it really is amazing value. Obviously, it's all got kind of similar UX, that UX design. I don't want to go into too big a dive, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, because the things that are inbuilt might be better suited for a slightly different UX design, depending on the key functionality. And because you're throwing it all into a global UX design, that can lead to its own problems. Hopefully I'm not losing you. I'm just trying to, based on my many years experience, right? And like Rob, I've got it on the list. It's the Swiss Army knives of real estate CRMs, or one of them. What I feel its key strengths. I do think the artificial intelligence functionality that enables through text messaging to answer messages, that is quite impressive for the money.
Mm-hmm.
The video marketing functionality for the money is pretty impressive. Is it as good as BombBomb? No, but it's a very different price point. If you're really, really into utilizing video as outreach, I would invest in BombBomb. But if you're trying it, it's effective, it's inbuilt, it works. It just doesn't do everything that BombBomb does.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a pretty clean, semi-good UX design, not the greatest, but not the worst. And the price, I think the price is unbeatable. So if you're really into value for money, this is the product for you in this list, in my opinion. Weaknesses, well, it's like, again, its strength is it's the Swiss Army knife. Its weakness, it's the Swiss Army knife. The Facebook marketing side, I personally think that's one of the weakest parts of it. The AI, I've just sung its praises. The only thing is you could go really bonkers with it. You could literally AI almost everything and really go over the top, you could go bonkers. And like I say, the video marketing, great value, but it ain't BombBomb. So that's my summary, right? Okay. On to the next one. Ready, Rob? All right, he's ready. Top Producer X.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Once again, John, I've seen Top Producer and I've seen Top Producer X. What I noticed that Top Producer did was, so Top Producer years ago, for everybody listening to the show, they were one of the big ones, one of the absolute biggest guys inside the CRM space for a while. And then, of course, CRM started to change, automated emails, action plans, all these other things. So the core functionality of Top Producer was given a facelift and some new features added. They called it Top Producer X. Okay, they facelifted the UI. But unfortunately, they didn't change some of the basic mechanics around some of their other delivery systems, like email templates, as an example. At least not the last time I looked at Top Producer X. So what that meant was they gave, they dressed up the pig, is what somebody used to tell me that was one of my mentors in the sales business. Like they kept the basic product that was really already antiquated, and they gave it a facelift, a little teeny tiny.
He's been diplomatic. I'm not. What he's saying to you, it's lipstick on the pig, really, aren't you?
Right. Yes. And the last time I used it, it was so unfunctional, I couldn't finish my review. So what does that mean? That means I don't even have a posted review on Top Producer. Because
that's what that, if you're watching this, that's what that means, doesn't it? You could just put it in one gesture, really, can't you?
I couldn't actually get through. So
yeah, but you are a CRM snob, digital snob, aren't you?
I really am.
You're a bit snobbish about this, aren't you? For good reason. Well, you want my take on it?
Yeah.
Oh, master. I'm just a grasshopper compared to the master. Yeah, well, like I say, they've tried. They put it's initially it's got a nice looking modern. The first impression, it's not bad. What are people going on about? But it's got a very kind of desktop Microsoft kind of, it's like Microsoft 11 kind of vibe about it. It's like a desktop product that you utilize for your web browser. It's got that kind of feel to it. All the fun, it's got a nice calendar functionality. Really like the Canada functionality if you live by Canada, but there's a problem with that. Apart from, not a bad interface design, and if you're used to it, you're going to be happy with it. And the calendar, the interface is, because they kind of throw in all these things. It's got a very busy interface, as I call it. The inbuilt Canada. Well, if you really want to be nasty, who cares? Everybody uses Google Calendar, so does it really matter? Marketing automation, poor. I think you touched on that. And the main problem is Line Desk, because the price, compared to Line Desk, for what you get as a kind of Swiss Army knife solution, that's a bit of a problem. So good try, but it doesn't really pan out, does it?
No, not really. And I do want to comment on something like listen, for those that listen to the show, I know many of the people that work in many of these companies, so I try to be a little bit.
You used to, but you won't do after this.
Right, exactly that. So I do my best to be respectful of the people that have shed blood, sweat, and tears into building some of these products. But having said that, there are some things that you just simply have to acknowledge in order to be honest with the people like you who are the end users. So here's one of my honest moments: is that Top Producer is overpriced for what you get in comparison to the series of products that it stands up against. I'm not saying, for those of you who've been in it for a million years and you have a long list of clients in it, it might not make sense for you to move to justify a $20 or $30 a month price change. Unless, of course, you're trying to get effective marketing out of that list, because Top Producer probably will not do that for you. Full stop. There's plenty of other programs and plans out there that do better jobs. BombBomb, Robly, many other much more clever entrepreneurs have gotten out there and created really specific marketing products that leverage your list. Okay, very few generalized CRMs allow you to get maximum value out of your list. What you really should be looking at a CRM for is, does it allow you to maintenance your list effectively while you wait for a specialized tool to achieve maximum value?
Yeah, I think it's time for us to go for a break and come back, Rob.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the Mailrite Show. It's episode number 337. John and I are super excited to do the show. Please do us a favor and leave us a comment somewhere and cut John and I a little slack, because poor John has to deal with my ass every single day. So give the guy a few thumbs up and credit. He messages me, he texts me, he begs me to look at stuff, and I just don't do it, or I run out of time, or I have an emergency. So anyway, give him a thumbs up. And he's doing a little dance. So if you want to, like, you should come onto the YouTube channel and see John do his little dance. All right. We'll be right back. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's episode number 337. John and I are doing our last episode as right before I do a micro trip out to Las Vegas.
He's going to Las Vegas, babes.
Yeah, and I said to him, "Oh, I'm coming out towards you," and he said, "Robert, I'm 800 miles away."
500 actually.
Okay, 500 miles away. So anyway, what we're talking about today is we're talking about a list of CRMs. We've already talked about Top Producer. We've already talked about Lion Desk. What's on the list? What's next on the list?
Oh, wait for this one. It's going to be a different response from Robert. It's Follow Up Boss. And then to say that you're in a love affair with Follow Up Boss by your videos would be a last video I watched to say you sung its praises. But I do feel it's justified. So, Robert, I'll be interested to see if your love affair with Follow Up Boss has continued or has it ended in breakup.
Nope. Follow Up Boss is, for the reasons that you joked about earlier, Follow Up Boss is my favorite CRM by many miles, which everybody knows who's watched my podcast or listened to this show, watch my YouTube channel, follows my blog. I'm not, so it's not a matter of what particular steak has more sizzle. There are many steaks out there right now that have seemingly more sizzle than Follow Up Boss. What nobody has done, nobody or come even close to Follow Up Boss, is making it as learnable to use their systems. There's people who are pretty focused on creating complicated tools. But like you already said, if you cannot use the tool, it doesn't matter if it goes out and cooks the dinner for you. If you don't know how to turn on the on button, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter if you have a tool that's going to say, I'm going to generate you 100 leads, but all you got to do is this 1 hour's worth of work and walk through this maze and find the door at the end of it, and so on and so forth. Because if you can't do that, it's useless. You might as well throw it right out the damn window. Follow Up Boss is the easiest to use and understand. It took me an hour. Sierra Interactive took me 18 hours to understand. Sync actually took 26 hours.
And you gave up on the previous one, didn't you? Top Producer couldn't even get you sizzling. My position on this is slightly different to yours.
Sure.
My position is, yes, I agree with you. When it comes, these people know their UX design and they know how to make a web-based application. They know their business. I think they're based in Australia, are they not? And they know their business. Obviously, these are experienced web people. And where I disagree with you is that you're a connoisseur of CRMs and you're a bit of a snob, to say the least, on it for understandable reasons. And you're a HubSpot user. So you would find this easy to use, after about, oh yeah, I know this metaphor, blah, blah, blah. If you're not used to CRMs and you're not looking for the bee's knees, as we say in the UK, this probably isn't the tool. But if you're really, really serious and you want it to be future-proof and you want to do a bit of a dive and commit to it and not have to upgrade or be captured in something that just doesn't do what you want to do, and this is the tool for you. It is definitely not the cheapest on this list. Starts at $6, but for $69 for the individual agent, I don't think that's bad value actually for what you get. It doesn't try and do everything that Lion Desk does, but what it does do, it does it in the best way of this list, I would say. That's my spiel about it, Rob.
A few other things to say about Follow Up Boss, because John's right. He's absolutely correct in everything he said. It's not.
Can you say that again? Because you don't normally say that.
It's not a casual CRM. No, I won't say it again. It's not a casual CRM. It's not. Even though it is easier to learn, it is not what I would necessarily recommend for somebody who is being super casual. It is a reasonably priced CRM. If somebody was going to go super casual, and I would still probably make the recommendation, and have in the past, by the way, to go with LineDesk or something similar that's cheaper. If you're going to sit here and say, I'm new to CRMs, I don't even know how I'm going to use it or what I'm going to use it for. Once again, the tutorials doesn't matter for Follow Up Boss. $69 a month is actually a lot for a brand new agent coming right out of the box looking for their first CRM tool. I agree with John on that 100%. I haven't really focused on what my low end, like starter market CRM purchase might be, but LineDesk is probably as good of a recommendation as any. There are some other people that have been messaging me about CRM tools. I haven't reviewed any of them. To be honest with everybody that's listening to the show, I've hit a place with my schedule where if somebody has a new tool, I tell them, hey, you got to pay me $500 to look at it. And then I will give you a non-biased review, which doesn't necessarily guarantee you a good report. So so far nobody's really taken me up on that, but I actually get tons of these requests, John. People,
yeah, I'm sure you do. On to the next of the good, bad, and ugly of this group.
Please.
Let's have the role. Wise Agent.
Wise Agent is a solid product. I've got lots of people that use it intermittently inside, but here's the thing about Wise Agent, as with most of these CRMs. So in order for this to make sense, everybody's got to hear me out, including you, John. There was a time when there wasn't really a strong CRM contender in the real estate market. And around that time, there were quite a few small and big entrepreneurs alike that decided that they were going to fill the space and basically add in like action plans and all the modern conveniences of CRMs. But the problem is that nobody realized like 20 people were getting into the race at the same time. Nobody understood that. Wise Agent was one of those. There were I think they're an 8 or 9 year old CRM. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And I forget what their little specialty is that sets them apart from everybody else. What I will say is that when I looked at the UI and the basic way that the CRM operated, I liked it. It was good. The problem that I had with it was, as with so many other CRMs, is it wasn't really doing anything different or better or more efficiently than any other CRMs I looked at. Nor was it easier to learn. So when all of those things got put into place, I said, I'm not going to do a deep review on them. Now, John's giving me weird looks. You don't agree. Hit me.
Well, because like I say, you're a CRM snob. You're a digital snob. When it comes to UX design, apart from it's probably got the weakest UX design. Sorry, and I know they're going to be sending me emails saying you're horrible, but it is. When it comes to core functionality, able to grasp it. See, you think, oh, Follow Up Boss, it's the easiest to learn. I disagree with you there. I think actually for a non-expert like you, Wise Agent or LineDesk is going to be it. Well, I actually think when it comes to the learning process, I actually think Wise Agent is going to be a bit easier to learn than LineDesk. But when it comes to value to money, Wise Agent's problem is LineDesk. So take your poison, really. But the other strength is they've got loads of integrations. But so has LineDesk got loads of integrations. So the price is pretty good, but their problem again is LineDesk. So not terrible, not the worst in this list, but its problem fundamentally is LineDesk.
Okay. Well, I guess I understand that. I don't know that I feel like LineDesk is quite the problem in the sandbox as you do. But then again, you are right. I do have to agree. Like, I don't love the language that you're using because you're using the word snob, and I would like to think that I'm
I
more.
mean that in a charming way.
I think that I'm more of like just an efficiency junkie, and I've been an efficiency junkie because I've
You're
run
an expert.
sales teams.
You're an
And
expert.
when you
A
start,
connoisseur.
there we go. I'm a connoisseur. That's true. And I do use HubSpot. John is once again accurately depicting what happens. I use HubSpot, which is by far and away the one of the more complicated tools that are out there, harder to learn, harder to understand. They have people call you and try to educate you on the platform. It's not easy. So I definitely am like more of a different level of user than the people that we're talking to. But having said all that, I am usually talking to a lot of people using CRMs, which are real estate agents, and a lot of my feedback actually comes from them. I just keep asking about what their experience is with the platform. They keep telling me, and I regurgitate it as if it's my opinion. It's the end users, man. That's what they say.
Right. On to the last, and I don't know if this is on your radar. Elevate, a kind of newish player in town. Have you heard of this one, Elevate?
You're gonna have to educate me.
No?
No.
Well, it's a new kid on the block, kind of semi-new. If you do a search for real estate CRM Elevate, it is a little bit controversial. Some of the leaders in the real estate market have been pushing it hard, and the crew behind it have been pushing it. They're not totally all pay about their pricing structure, but it seems to start at around 110 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of these that Wise Agent touches this because they supply landing pages. The others that we've been discussing, I don't think they do. I don't think Follow Up Boss provides landing pages. I might be wrong. Elevate, they provide a website there. So it's one of these that kind of is in both camps of a website and a CRM, which in truth, Mel Wright kind of touches it a little bit, and Easy Agent Pro. But I want you to keep, this list could be 20 long, so I want you to keep it under control. Their websites are dog ugly, as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
okay. I know who Elevate is. I'm going to apologize to John and everybody else. I didn't realize they had changed the name of a company.
That's one of the problems.
Okay. Well, Elevate, to be transparent, is an Elm Street Technologies company. Elm Street owns IDX Broker. I did do a fairly deep dive on Elevate once they bought IDX Broker because I use IDX Broker a lot, like a lot. So I had to do some research. What they're at? Can I get into it?
Yeah, go on, off you go. You're the
All
expert
right.
on this. I'm the student, Robert.
The product that Elevate is offering as an IDX high SEO IDX website is a thrice purchased and renovated service that used to be I forget what they were called, but IDX Broker bought them a few years ago, and they were selling templates, and I used their template for a while. The template is not good. Okay, full stop. It is an IDX integrated WordPress template, but it wasn't good. They haven't made it better. It's got a high load on it. I don't know why Elm Street bought it and revamped it and then is offering it out. I would have rebuilt the product from the start up. That's not what they seemingly have done. So there's that. But they bought the company, and they probably bought it for a pretty penny. So they when you acquire the technology, you probably decide that you want to use it. You're like, oh, this is the best in the industry. It's terrible. So there's that. In terms of the CRM, I've never looked at it because if it's anything like what they purchased from IDX Broker, which has a CRM in it, it's one of the worst CRMs that exists. Like, it's not a CRM even. Like, it's a customer record management. So you can't do 90% of the things that you want to do with customer record management. Now, these guys have a lot of products that they're advertising: DMS Plus, Social Pro, Elite Pro. Here's what this looks like to me. There are companies out there like Realty NA who are better than others at marketing. They break out. And by the way, another company that was really good at doing this that had really crap products, Easy Agent Pro. There was a couple of guys, a couple of developers that had this great way calling things like lead farms and cock-a-doodle-doo and like all these different like plugins, and they would just give them really cool names, and you could have bought 10 or 15 better plugins in the WordPress like plugin market that didn't have the fancy name that would do the same thing. But you as the end user don't know that because you aren't familiar with technology. Elevate, to the closest to my ability to have said this, they are very much the same thing. They've cobbled together a number of tools that don't quite work well together, and they certainly don't have a real estate website that pieces this stuff together in the right way that's SEO friendly. Like that's what they're saying. That's not true.
Yeah, I have real problems with this company and what they're selling because they by reading the reviews, and everybody gets bad reviews. We've discussed this. I'm sure you get some bad reviews. I've got unhappy clients. It's impossible to please everybody, but they are one of these companies that have been promising a lot, ridiculous a lot, and they underachieve almost all the time for what I see. And it's a hot mess, as I call it. I don't want to kill a dead dog, but it's a pretty much a hot mess. And I think it's the weakest offering of all these. But there's a lot of them around. Hopefully, Mel, right, I think we've integrated what you said about Easy Agent Pro. The only thing I do agree what you've said about Easy Agent Pro, but what I think they have over 1,000 users by the market research I've done, and I think people stay with them because they do offer a lot of community-based education and support. One of my problems with Easy Agent Pro is that they say, well, we provide blog content. Well, they do. They don't lie, but it's the same blog content for everybody on one of their websites. And that has absolutely zero value for Google. And actually, I'm not the expert like you. I'm just dangerous. But very dangerous. But what I know is that content that's shared over a internal network, this is what we're talking about now, is that you're going to get penalized. Your website will actually get penalized. It just won't have a benign effect, i.e. this shared blog content won't move the needle at all. It actually can hurt your SEO of your website, and obviously they don't say that on their websites, which for obvious reasons they're not. I have a problem with that, but that might be me, Robert. I'm a grumpy old English person, aren't
I? Yes. So I want to say something that because John said something correct but not correct as it relates to me. So getting good reviews is extremely difficult. Almost everybody in the business gets dinged on the review side. I've been doing this for 16 years, and so far 100 reviews on many different platforms, and I still have maintained a straight up 5-star rating. Now, what I've had to do that is extraordinary, and nobody, including John, should ever probably do the things that I do to make sure that I get consistent across the board 5-star reviews. As a matter of fact, when I research other people's reviews, I look for bad reviews so that I can have a comparison of service. That's the crazy thing about my weird obsession, is that I know it would be better if I just let some of these customer service things boil out into the world, but I don't. I mean, I go as far as returning everybody's money and just doing nutty, non-conducive business things in order to. So when you say, "Oh, Robert, everybody has a bad review, even you have a bad review," I get a little bit prickly about it because I've spent tens of thousands of my dollars to make sure that I actually.
Oh, sorry, I just didn't realise that, Robert. You will speak to me next week, won't you?
I will. So other than that, though, I love what John had to say about Elevate. I think I listen. Maybe they're going to do something cool. what they've done right now is packaged a whole bunch of technology companies that they bought together. And as far as I can tell, they did not do a really efficient job at doing it. Please be careful as you invest your money.
Well, they're touting around all the associations doing free meet. Well, they're getting some popular on-board coaches in the industry. They're really, it's just the hubris of their marketing is ridiculous. It's that's the problem. And the other thing we could have thrown in, but we're coming to the end of it. Well, I don't know if one thing I haven't added to this list is how's your review and what's your feelings about Placer? If Placer was part of this as well, the last one, what would you say about Placer?
What, Placer? Placer?
Yeah, is it Placer? Sorry, or am I?
Okay, just making sure that we're talking about the same thing. I still haven't, I've seen the new platform. I like the new platform. I still haven't done a deep enough dive into their CRM element to really say anything one way or the other. I have sent Seth Price, after our last show, a couple of direct referrals from people that I've spoken to on the phone that have larger teams. John, within a very short amount of time, I should actually have a full, complete, detailed update from an end user perspective, not the developer perspective.
Right.
So I'm waiting on that to start diving deeper into Placer.
Right, that's fair. I think it's time to wrap it up, Robert. I think it's time to wrap it up for me, isn't it?
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Please, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that as well. John works really hard on the production of the show. I'd love it if every now and again some of you would throw into the comments, "Attaboy, John, you rock." So if you want to look John up, you can do so at mail-right.com. Is there any other information that you'd like people to have about you, John?
No, and if you're really looking for a really effective SEO partner, content outreach partner, you really want to grow from that 3 million up to 10, 12, 15 million company, Roberts and his team are the people to go to.
Thank you for that, John. I really appreciate it. InboundREM.com is my URL. Go there to learn. Go there to hang out.
Well, I'd like to point out I meant 3 million gross profit, not production. I mean,
a free book on my website called The Content Money Tree. You should go there, register, and check it out. All right.
See you later. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.